Hey everybody. Hope this week was a good one for everyone. Probably nice and busy. I know mine was. Sorry I didn't get to interact as much as I usually like, but wanted to share a thought or two about the topics of harassment and discrimination. Very interesting topics. It's something that has to be a mindset in anybody who is a manager or especially an HR leader, so that we're maintaining an environment where everyone can flourish and not feel um, inferior or in a situation where they can feel harassed or discriminated against. Of course, the employment laws kind of give us that framework, and so as long as we're in that mindset, we can usually stay safe in those areas. But the biggest thought and the biggest thing I wanted to share about harassment in general is, if it's something that's uninvited, whether that be a comment or something more tangible like touching or display of materials or anything like that, joking, we don't get to decide what makes someone else uncomfortable. That other person does. So if I'm having a discussion with a coworker, maybe we're jesting or we're having some jokes, if they're inappropriate, maybe they're fine with me and that person I'm talking to, but if somebody down the hall hears that, it makes them uncomfortable. That's their prerogative, and so we don't get to determine that. That person does. And so the underlying assumptions and best practices to avoid anything that could be deemed harassment is the practice of respect. Respect begets respect. And so if we're respecting the views and the presence of others, especially in the workplace, we can avoid a lot of unnecessary situations. Okay, so that is my underlying thought about harassment is cultivating respect in all areas of our lives. Now, harassment and discrimination are not things we want to table or set aside. If we've got people complaining, we want to get those issues fielded as soon as possible. You've noticed that in doohickeys. We've got a pretty prevalent situation to respond to. We've read the Lone Star case. Pretty difficult situation to respond to, but it happens. And when it happens, we've got to know what to do about it. It's important to have policy in place for sexual harassment or discrimination. It's important to have procedure in place so that people know where to turn, so that managers know what to do, and people know who to talk to. Usually it's investigative. We get statements. It's confidential as possible, at least as confidential as we can be to help get the situation resolved. If things escalate, that's when other boards might get involved. Clear up into the EEOC, which you've seen on the website, can be tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So don't mess with harassment. Fix it. And if the two parties can fix it themselves, great. But if it's harassment or there's something discriminatory, it's usually an investigation. Take some time, take some good judgment to do the right thing. So if you have questions on that, let me know. Happy to discuss. It happens in my current role. We've just got to respond to it, take care of it without making people feel like they're not heard or cared for. So that, I don't know, that's my 2 cents on those topics. You want to respond to it, and you want to have good policy and procedure in place to get things taken care of. If you have questions on that, let me know. I've got another announcement video that I've just created that will launch midnight tomorrow night, talking a little bit about recruiting and hiring, which we'll jump into next week. So think about what a company's talent philosophy should be. What should they focus on? And what would the Lord's talent philosophy be? Think about that this week, and we'll discuss. Thanks. Take care.